would you buy in North Dakota in a small town where there's only 1,100 people? I don't know. There's a good investment
Right.
there. 5% population growth year to year for 7 years. We had a Dodger player on our podcast, the last episode. I hope
Hmm.
everyone had a chance to go watch that. If you haven't, please go and take a look at it. I'll put it in the link in the description. I think it's a very exciting moment. We had our first MLB person on our podcast, and I think more to come. Given it'll probably be a Dodger or maybe someone. Three balls, two strikes, pressure is on. This is where we discuss real estate, property improvement, and business. Together, we'll strategize on how to win. Welcome to the Full Count. Welcome back to Full Count Podcast. Nick and I and the team, we're always looking at trends for where the population's growing or where people are going to migrate to build new businesses and things like that. Because at the end of the day, you want to look for an investment where real estate will appreciate. Of course, you want the cash flow, but appreciation is key as well. And what we came across on a great article on the Wall Street Journal was in Ellendale, North Dakota. There's a company called CoreWeave that's an AI computing company that's building data centers. And this data center is going to build a ton of infrastructure for not only the data center, but the mayor and everyone else is getting involved. They're building the sewers, more highways and things like that. And this is really exciting news because this data center is going to bring at least 400 people more into this community. And I know that sounds like nothing, but there's only 1,100 people in this community of Ellendale, North Dakota. So that's about a 36% population growth in a matter of like less than a year or two. That being said, the population growth, if you smooth it out in a 7-year period, is about 5%, a little over 5%. So I think this is a great opportunity for a lot of people that are looking for investment. And I don't know, Nick, anything under 300,000 is a pretty good deal for real estate. And I'm looking at some properties here.
Yeah.
They're ranging around 250 to 198. And I think home prices are probably going to go up a bit more.
Yeah, I would assume so. I think they will. I mean, it depends on the area, right? So you're talking about LA, like LA County area.
Oh, no, Ellendale, North Dakota.
Oh,
Ellendale.
Ellendale, Mexico.
I've never heard of this town before, but from what I understand, there's only 1,100 people in this city. And CoreWeave has been building out this data center for a little bit now, but people are skeptical as well because at the end of the day, you're going to have an ugly view of this huge building that is emitting some pollution to some degree and noise. But what's nice about Ellendale, is what I was reading into, is that the climate's very good, so it's a little bit cooler. So they don't really have to spend so much money on the utility bill, the electricity to keep the data center cold. So that's a huge plus for them. In the town, people are skittish about it, but at the same time, I think people are seeing the prominence of what it can be, considering data centers. What I was also seeing is right now, the gigawatts that is being utilized in the United States this year is like under 7 gigawatts. By 2030 is projected to be about 45 to 47 gigawatts. So 1 gigawatts is, it's 1,000 megawatts. So that's quite a bit. Right now they're using 400 megawatts, or they're going to use 400 megawatts at this data center, which can give electricity to about 150,000 homes, essentially, if you want to equate it that way. But I think this is a big deal for people to be able to purchase a property and maybe use it as investment or even live in the town if that's something someone wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and I mean it's also going to go up because I mean, with that comes job opportunities, right? I mean, obviously, it may not be as much as it was before, but you still have to maintain and upkeep, those type of data centers. So I think it'll definitely raise home prices.
I think so too, and I was really happy to hear about the policy, being implemented by the mayor, how they're building out infrastructure. Because sometimes, this can all happen, but maybe the city and the voters aren't wanting to invest in the infrastructure. But in this case, they are. I want to pull up the home really quick of what I found, and it's actually not bad considering the home is only 250,000, and it's only a few miles away. So I'll bring that up now.
How many bed and bath?
I don't know. Let me see. So just 3 miles away, you see that this property here, that's about 250, is only 3 miles away from the data center being built. by
Mm.
CoreWeave, and this is the property. It's a 5 bedroom, 2 bath,
Nice.
2,225 square feet, 215 square feet. It gets
Pretty high.
1800s.
Yeah. Old style,
You know,
detached garage and shed.
right, and the population thirty six
Good
percent
condition.
increase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks like a lot of it's been redone too.
yeah. I mean, a mortgage on that is actually not too bad. Let me see if I can.
No, no.
So if you put 50,000 down, right, and your credit score is not too bad, you're looking at about 1491 mortgage payment, including taxes.
That's not bad at all for that
Not bad at
house. I
all.
mean, that's definitely a steal. Do you know anything else about the area?
No, not really. This I literally
Mm.
just came across this recently. So the
Mm.
area seems to be it's a sleepy town because it's so tiny,
Yeah.
1100 people in this little area. This grid right
Very.
here, they don't really have much going on, but with this
Right.
they told I was reading it's they have one motel, they have one little college, and then it's just a very tiny town and of this little airport, I guess. But they're doing this in many places throughout the United States. Sam
Hmm.
Altman, Mark Zuckerberg,
Hmm.
the founder of Google as well. No, I'm sorry, not the founder, the CEO. There's a lot of opportunity. I think some
Yeah.
people that when they're so focused in their community and they feel like they're priced out, if you just read an article or look into it, you'll see that there's a lot of opportunity. I saw something going on in New
Hmm.
Mexico, a town near Austin, Texas, that they're
Right.
doing as well. These data companies. The only caveat to all this is that there's potential that this could be like a bubble, right? So they could build all these
Yeah.
data centers and then the AI, the demand from consumers isn't going to be there. That's definitely a risk, and it
Hmm.
happened in the .com era with the fiber optic cables. But during that time, those fiber optic cables didn't get dated. When it comes with AI data centers, I think it says it's like 5 to 7 years for it to be working at full capacity. After that, it's like a downgrade, and you need to upgrade it. So that's the
Right.
issue I can see for people to really consider. But under $1,500 mortgage payment, 50,000 down is pretty good considering that investment is probably going to shoot up in the next few years, let alone 10
Hmm.
years.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, so if you're looking at it from an investor perspective, right? You could buy something like that. I mean, I don't think most people want to move to a little sleepy town in North
No,
Dakota. I mean, if you do, hey, that's a steal.
yeah.
But
Remote work, who knows?
yeah, yeah, right, exactly. But you could, I'm sure, purchase it, maybe rent it out for a little while that's getting built, because I'm sure there's going to be tons of,
Right,
people that are going to be coming to the town to actually build out that data center, right? I think that's probably going to be the biggest employment boom
right,
is from the construction of it,
right.
right? And then after that, yeah, I definitely see things dropping off pretty
It
quickly with
can it can definitely fizzle out. That is another one.
yeah.
But what I was looking into is it said that yes, the boom of employment is crazy right now. Like that town,
Hmm.
they're having to build up these like restaurants right away and grocery stores
Right.
to for the demand. But it did say once the data center is completed, those at least 400 people, right, new
Hmm.
households or people will have to stay there long term because they're going to be the ones maintaining that data center.
Okay.
So
No,
that's a
that's good.
36% boom. And then they're going to have
Yeah.
kids. So that's another boom in the next 30
Right.
years. Who
Right.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it depends on how much maintenance is required and how
Yeah.
many manpower, with the implementation of AI and all that. I mean, granted, it
Right.
is a data center, right? So,
Right. So there's some hope out there for everyone. Someone that's throwing a little shade on hope, but I think it's more of a reality check is Kevin
right.
O'Leary, if you want to touch on that.
Yeah. So, one thing I guess he said recently that we came across an article of is that people should give up the idea of 3.5% or around that area
Right.
mortgage rates, right? 30-year
Mm-hmm.
fix. Um, that they should just, give that up, accept the 6-7% and move on with their lives. Because he doesn't think, from his perspective, that we're going to see those type of mortgage rates again in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I mean is a pretty fair chance, right? I mean, he had mentioned that okay, our parents and our grandparents' generation, most of the interest rates that they saw throughout their lifetime was much higher, right? And it
Right.
was an
Right.
average, he said, between like 6 and 8%. So, and if you look at like the 30-year fixed interest rate uh, mortgage chart that we had pulled out, and we could put it on the screen. Um,
Yeah,
after,
I'll put it on overlay. But go
yeah,
ahead. Explain it.
yeah. So basically, I mean, it was around 8%, and if you're looking at like starting in 1970, and then jumped up to somewhere around 19%
Right.
in the early 80s, and then basically continued to decline since then, with the lowest being just around COVID time, so like 2020 to like 2022,
Hmm.
where then it spiked back up, and we've kind of just been up and down right around the like 7% mark. So I mean, I think that, yeah, it does seem to be evening out. I mean, I think, and I'd like to hear your opinion on this, Andrew, but the Fed's I mean, they've dropped it a couple of times, right? A couple of notches.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't think, I mean, there is still quite a bit of high inflation, right, here in the US. So, um,
Sort of.
yeah, I mean, I do see it. If I had to give my opinion, I would say I do see it coming down
It is.
a bit
Yeah.
more.
Hmm.
But back down to like 3-4%, that might be, a hard one.
Yeah, I don't foresee 3.5, 2% interest rates for
Yeah,
mortgages coming anytime soon in the next several decades. Maybe when we're in our 60s or even older or dead or have
right.
kids of our own that are in their
Yeah.
adulthood, maybe there'll be another, extreme pandemic of some sort or World War III that can bring down the rates. But yeah, I mean, during the time rates were over 15% in the 70s or 80s,
Hmm.
one of the two. During Paul Volcker's era, which was the federal chairman, and then right before and during that time. So what did he do? He raised the interest rates for the Fed funds rate. And that's kind of when he did that, the economy went into a bad recession and then it dropped
Hmm.
the inflation. And then when
Right.
inflation drops, mortgage rates drop. So the Federal Reserve did drop interest rates by 25 basis points this year. That's the only one they've done this year. They were supposed to do it way more. At least that's what President Trump wanted, but it wasn't helping rates by having him wait for so long. So that drop that just
Hmm.
happened this month in September, it really didn't bring down rates too much because 3 weeks prior to that rate drop, rates had already fallen because they priced in
Hmm.
that Fed funds rate cut. So unfortunately, even with that cut, we didn't see more because I think a lot of bond investors and mortgage bonds, they see the writing on the wall that inflation is still present, so they're going to want a
Hmm.
higher yield for their money, and that's essentially what happened. I think the
Right.
PCE index like 2.8%, maybe 2.7, and that's like the favored interest rate measure besides the CPI that the Fed looks at.
Hmm. Hmm.
And because it's at 2.8% or 2.7, one of the two, I forget, but the Fed wants to see that at 2%. So that's why
Right.
we haven't really seen these higher drops. But inflation has definitely come down. And it's said that two more rate cuts will happen this year. I don't know if I believe that. But if they do, I could definitely
Yeah.
see interest rates hovering at 6% because right now they're like at 6.3. Right before the cut in September 17th, it was like 6.2. Now it's at
Hmm.
6.3. So it's still pretty low. It's not terrible.
Yeah. 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 I mean, still doable.
Yeah. Actually, let me actually look at the number. That $250,000 house, it's at what, 1,500, 1,490 per month. If the
Hmm.
rates drop, let me see. Let's see, what interest rate do they have it at? They have it at 6.1%. Oh, that's too bad. The example's not going to work. But let's say they drop it to 6%. Now you're looking at 1,200 versus 1490. I'm sorry, 1,470 versus 1,490. It really didn't do a
Yeah.
difference.
It's not gonna be much. Yeah.
No. But let's say we get to 5%, 5.5%. Let me see. 5 point.
Still don't think it's gonna be too much of a difference. Maybe $100 a month, but
Um, Let me see. Hold on. 5.5%. Okay, so at 5.5%, it went from, what was it, 1490 at 6.1 to
Mhm.
1411. So it's still not a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
not
think
even 100%.
I think that's why Kevin O'Leary is saying accept it, the reality, and just stick with it.
Right. Right.
Even if it does drop, it's not going to be by a ton
Yeah,
on the mortgage
exactly.
payment.
Right.
So,
Right.
um,
Yeah. He made some kind of harsh words. He's like, just give up your dream home.
yeah.
Move
So
on.
yes, so he was saying what you
Yeah.
do. I forget. Thank you for mentioning that. He says
Yeah.
move on, accept the reality, and buy a smaller home. So your
Yeah.
dream home is gone, evaporated from your memory. You're going after a smaller, more modest home, is what he's saying.
You're
I
right.
don't know how people can may take that, considering during the 2020 to 22, everybody had got the
Mm-hmm.
dream home, essentially, the ones that could,
Mm-hmm.
anyways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know
Yeah.
about for
I
you,
mean,
Nick. Are you pricing that in now? Like whatever. What was your dream home, and are you pricing it into a smaller home now?
um, I mean, I'm not really looking to buy anything here
But
right
when you
now.
do,
So, I mean, we'll have to see how it is, when I do. But I mean, I think I rather I rather have more than one place, like a place here, a place elsewhere, like in Italy or whatnot.
hmm
But and a smaller place in each than
right,
something like big and extravagant, right? But I mean, I think that there's AI is coming out and cutting a lot of jobs, but I mean, I think that it
right,
also brings a lot of potential, right? For
yeah,
different ways to
for
make
sure,
make income, right? So as long as, I mean, from an investor perspective, right? If you buy something, I mean, as long as whatever the interest rate, whether it's 5% or 7%, it's not really going to make too much of a difference, you know.
hmm
And as long as you make that monthly payment within the budget, then that's what matters.
right, right. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to baseball. Something that just went down that I didn't even know about, but my wife covered it, Melissa. And essentially, in the MLB on the Ballpark app, this is how you obtain, your tickets for the games. Now that we're going into the postseason, it's even more important because
Mm-hmm.
who's going to want to be in a position that spends so much money on a postseason game for baseball, and then you come to find in your Ballpark app your tickets are missing. And that's what's happening.
Mm,
There's some scammers right now. These high tech people are going in the Ballpark app and they are taking your tickets and then they're reselling them to someone else or they're keeping it for themselves. So people are
mm,
in a big time jam right now, and
damn.
yeah, it's not good. Dude, they're like at the Dodger Stadium. I was even the Angel Stadium. I think like a okay ticket's like $65 at the Angel
Mm,
Stadium. At a
mm,
Dodger game ticket is at least $110, and this is before postseason.
okay.
So I can
Yeah.
only imagine after, now that we're going
Right.
into postseason.
Right.
So it's pretty bad. So the MLB is basically telling everyone change your password from what you have it at right now, and of course,
Mm,
kind of like the common thing, don't have all your passwords be the same on all these other platforms. Have switch it up
yeah.
so people don't
Right.
know. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. I
and
mean, well, that's nomenclature across the board, right?
right, right,
You don't have the same password across a whole slew of websites because then one person, one hacker gets your website or your password, and there you go. They got access to everything.
for sure,
Um,
for sure.
yeah.
And
That's it. That's,
go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that's so unfortunate though that they're doing that.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
bad, but it's gonna happen, unfortunately.
Hmm. How
Speaking
did
of
Melissa hear about
baseball,
it?
I'm sorry, what?
How did Melissa hear about it? She was doing a
her
report on it.
her work. She reported on it. Yeah. So what I'll do actually is I'll put it on B-roll right now, and show people.
ABC's Melissa Don is back with the story. And Melissa, they say their digital tickets disappeared and were then resold.
Yes, Whit, can you imagine? You're looking forward to your baseball game. You make it to the stadium, and it turns out your tickets are just gone from your account. Well, this morning, some fans are warning not just about players stealing bases, but scammers allegedly stealing tickets.
Exactly what happened.
Right.
But yeah, she reported on it today on Good Morning America. So it's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
But speaking of
Okay.
baseball, we had a Dodger player on our podcast, the last episode. I hope
Mhm.
everyone had a chance to go watch that. If you haven't, please go and take a look at it. I'll put it in the link in the description. I think it's a very exciting moment. We had our first MLB person on our podcast, and I think more to come. Given it'll probably be a Dodger or maybe someone else. It'd be great to have like an
Mhm.
Aaron Judge. at some point too. But Tyler Glasnow is an ace pitcher. He's like equivalent to kind of like a Aaron Judge, but he's a pitcher here on the West Coast for the Dodgers. So that was fun. We got to see what type of real estate he likes and get to know his personality a little bit more versus, just strictly on the baseball stuff. But he does give advice on how to overcome pressure. I asked him his full count question, so that was pretty fun to do. Going into the MVP award now, let's talk about that. We have Judge and Raleigh, I think that's how you pronounce it, but the MVP for American League is between those two. And I like what Jeff Passan said, who is a journalist for the MLB, and he basically said, objectively, Judge all day. When it comes to the narrative and the storytelling, it might be Raleigh. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's on the Mariners, but he's finally given the Mariners an opportunity to potentially go to the World Series. And this guy is a catcher who hit 60 home runs, which is unheard of, number one. And then number two, he's a catcher. So he's always out playing defensively. He's the one, actually having that position that he's constantly being, really run and worked, as a catcher behind the plate. So that's obviously a difficult task in itself. But at the end of the day, it looks like Judge, in my opinion, still has the better stats. But stories sell, right? A lot of people have the Judge fatigue at this point.
Right. Yeah. Have you been watching closely? Like, what's been let's pause. I don't know what I was trying to ask you.
Let me add this. Today's Sunday. What is it? The 28th. Currently, Judge has 53 home runs, and Cal Raleigh, I can't believe I can't pronounce it. Anyways, Cal Raleigh has 60 home runs. The batting average between the two is Judge has a 331 batting average. Raleigh has 246. So, of course, if you're looking at batting average alone, you're going to go with Judge. Home runs, he's winning Raleigh. RBIs, Judge is beating him. OPS, he's still beating him as well. So I don't know. I think Judge is probably going to have to take it. Same with OPS plus 215 for Judge. Cal Raleigh at 171. So if you're looking at like the objectively, I think it's going to be Judge, but he's already won 2 MVPs. Cal Raleigh has not won any. What do you think? It's going to probably win.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I mean, as you know, I haven't been following it that closely, but I think that makes sense on who will win.
Who would win?
I'd be curious to hear Sway's take on it.
I think he's gonna go with Cal Raleigh for sure.
Really?
Just because he's not a Yankee fan, right? Like we are. That's number one. Number two is he likes probably the whole narrative storytelling. And I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he predicted the Mariners were going to win the World Series. It didn't happen last year, so he's probably bummed about that. So if this guy is able to give them a higher probability, I think he's going to go with them all day.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotta get him back on.
But they both deserve it so much, man. I mean,
no, definitely.
Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm gonna share the screen.
By the way, the Glasnow jersey behind you. The Glasnow.
What's up?
On that. The Glasnow jersey behind you.
What about it?
Like last time we talked, that wasn't there.
Oh, it's been there for.
Oh, it has.
A year? No, less than a year. Okay. Yeah, it's been there a while.
All right, cut that out.
No, I'm gonna keep that in there. How can you not notice that? So look at this. Very blurry, unfortunately, but the highest WRC plus. All right. So on here on this graph, weighted run percentage plus. You see the top guys on there: Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, and Mickey Mantle, etc. Aaron Judge is on there, and he's the top 3. He's right under Ted Williams and Babe Ruth. I think that alone kind of gives him more reason to probably go with the MVP award. Given that the MVP award, you don't take into account the postseason, and we all know what happens with Judge in October. So if you're looking at the season alone, you're not supposed to look at postseason. So I just want everyone watching to accept that and understand that. And that's it.
All right.
So everyone, like and subscribe, and make sure you give us your feedback on who you think deserves it. I think we will hear back in November whether Judge or Cal Raleigh gets that award for MVP American League. But I think, I really do give the guy credit, Cal Raleigh. He probably does deserve it, but I think objectively speaking, Aaron Judge. So that's my take. Give us your take. Yeah. Would you buy in North Dakota in a small town where there's only 1,100 people? I don't know. There's a good investment there. 5% population growth year to year for 7 years in the next 7 years. So that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
In any case, like, subscribe. Thank you.